Good morning, everyone. So much going on, so much news since Friday for the People's Party of Canada and just generally as well. But there's been reaction videos Canada-wide about the candidate announcements that happened on Friday. And I was at the presser on Friday at 1 o'clock and very excited. I'd heard earlier that Mr. Mansur was going to be joining the team, but I got to meet him and I got to watch him do an interview in Cambridge, and I had a couple of conversations with him. And what an unbelievably nice man and unbelievably good addition to the People's Party of Canada. So it is incredible to see the caliber of people the People's Party is attracting. And as we get closer to election and as things firm up and our 300 plus candidates as confirmed by Elections Canada is a testament to what's been built by Mr. Bernier and his team and the wider team of volunteers across Canada. This is a big deal. So it's wonderful to have you aboard, Mr. Mansur. I hope I get to interview you. I hope so. Mr. Frank Vaughan has also joined the team. That was an announcement on Friday. And Mr. Mark King also was announced on Friday. And that's the main point of this video. It's letters to a conservative. And the conservative is Mr. King. And, I guess it's letters to a former conservative. And the former conservative is Mr. King. What happened was Mr. King won the conservative nomination in Nipissing and Guelph. And I'll just read this. He won over... King won the party nod on June 17th, defeating challenger councillor Geordie Carr in a vote of about 200. Okay, and I'm going to leave it there. And then what happened is Geordie Carr appealed that and got the nomination anyway, and he was summarily removed by party bureaucrats. It wasn't Andrew Scheer, it was somebody in the party. It was a provincial director or somebody to that effect, from what I can gather. And I'm just taking that from what's been published. But I met Mr. King on Friday, and he said to me, "You wouldn't believe how many conservatives are sending me letters saying they're done with the Conservative Party over this." And I said, "Really? I'd love to see them. Please do send them to me." And he did. And so we are going to look, that's me trying to fix the sound. We are going to look at letters from a conservative, and it was supposed to be all lined up, but it's different than the browser, so here it is. So it says, "To the Conservative Party." So I've stripped out all of the identifying information from these emails. So if I've done this, it's just stripping out identification. Actually, I think this was the email original, but there's one email specifically that I did this on, and I left some stuff out just to maintain privacy. So I want you guys to know that because I don't want to dox anybody. But these are real emails sent to a real former Conservative candidate. This is what's happening. Okay. And it says, "To the Conservative Party. This is my third letter to let you know that I will not vote Conservative in the upcoming election. After the despicable way in which Mark King was removed from his win in our North Bay Nipissing riding area, I am appalled and disgusted by the actions of this party. And worse than denouncing Mr. King, you put Geordie Carr in as his replacement. Wow. Mr. King won over Geordie by many, many votes. So the locals here do not want her. And you found a miscellaneous item to remove him by. What if Mr. King had not won the election? Would his money still have been good enough to not bicker about? Please remove my membership, as I am ashamed to be named a conservative. I want no part of you. Mr. King, this is for your information. Please know that I wish you well, Robert." And so a lot of these are forwarded letters, like this is what I sent to the Conservatives, okay? Just so you're aware. This was on July 19th. "Originally, I would be enthusiastic about continuing to send money to the party, especially in this critical election year. I've been a sustaining member now for a long time, and I've never felt so let down by party leadership as I do now. I will mention just two recent events that anger me. The abuse of Lynn Bayek, where her career and reputation has been destroyed by the party, is unconscionable. I wrote to Mr. Scheer about it, but of course got no reply from him or anyone else. The recent nomination meeting in this riding, Nipissing Temiskaming, turned into one of the most shameful and embarrassing political events in my memory. The way in which Mr. King was set up for disqualification is typical of the very worst of backroom convenience in politics, something you would expect in the Soviet Union. What Mr. Greenberg and Mr. Sutton pulled off here was despicable, and when I contacted Mr. Greenberg, I was arrogantly ignored. Need I say more? I will continue to support conservative political theory where the least government is the best government, but I will take a recess at this time due to some of the leadership we unfortunately have now. This is one election I will sit out or be a none of the above voter. Based on past experience, it would be naive of me to expect a reply." In response to an email from the new candidate in Nipissing, this is the Geordie Carr sent an email, and this is a response to that. When I discovered the underhanded methods used by the PC party to fill its quota for women, I decided I wanted no part of this organization. I requested that day that my membership be revoked. Since I am receiving this email, I assume my request has not been honored. Not surprising, I would also request that my membership fee and contribution be refunded, and this party does not reflect my values. I would appreciate confirmation that this message has been received and acted upon. Yes. I've been a conservative for a long time, nearly 58 years, and don't ever recall being so disgusted at the party when I hear that they had overturned your nomination. The Conservative Party of Canada just handed this riding back over to Anthony Rota, in my opinion. I am not particularly pleased with the Liberal record. However, you're absolutely right. Conservative insiders are at the center of this debacle, and they're certainly not going to control my vote. I'm a resident of Callander, Ontario. I was extremely disappointed to learn that Mr. Mark King had been replaced by Miss Geordie Carr as the federal Conservative candidate for Nipissing Timiskaming. Ha! Miss Carr is a novice on our local council and has basically been invisible since her election. Mr. King, on the other hand, is an incumbent and well-respected member of North Bay City Council and has been a shining light in municipal politics. I did not vote for Miss Carr, in the past municipal election, as she is a virtual unknown. From what I've observed so far, I have no intention of voting for her in the upcoming federal election. I've consistently voted PC. The one exception was when I cast a vote for the late Pierre Trudeau. In my opinion, by excluding Mr. King in this process, you've basically handed the incumbent Liberal, Mr. Rota, the election on a silver platter. I was at the meeting and stayed till after the results were announced. No idea or suggestion of that Mark's win was in question. In my view, you simply handed Rota another term, as Mark's excellent speech certainly reflected his experience, knowledge, and political prowess, which far outweighs those demonstrated by Geordie, his female opponent. In my opinion, Mark won this nomination hands down as the better candidate by far. Very discouraging, disappointing, and unbelievable. This is the sort of thing that could ever be allowed to happen. I think they mean that should never be allowed to happen, but carry on. What kind of dog and pony show are you constituency executives running anyway? And I'll read a few more here. I was at this meeting and stayed till after the results were announced. No idea. Oh, sorry, that was a double. I'm totally disgusted with what has transpired here. You have no idea the firestorm that is about to be unleashed on the Conservative Party here in the Nipissing Timiskaming district. I have a long history in politics. Who do you think made Mike Harris? ... This is the email I was talking about. I removed some stuff. I get that Geordie Carr is Mike's niece. I get that he supports her. Geordie's father is a friend of mine until he passed away. That alone is not enough to nominate somebody. Geordie Carr sat in Mike King's office probably knowing full well that there was an appeal going on, offering her support to Mark. She sent out an email to the membership list 1 week after the nomination meeting, probably knowing full well that an appeal was on, throwing her support behind Mark King. Who does that? Is that who you want representing the party? That membership list under Section 7 is to be used only for campaigning, but I guess that's okay with you. Sorry to hear about this turn of events, Mark, not only for yourself and for our chances to defeat Rota, but makes me question the ability of these people altogether. I asked them why, and they said, and this is the reply, and this is a form letter the Conservatives sent. It says, thanks for replying to our email. We're always eager to hear from our members and supporters about issues that matter to you. Your comment will be reviewed and noted, but unfortunately we are unable to personally reply to all of the mail we receive. If you need assistance with a specific issue, or if you would like to bring something to our attention directly, please visit. And then it gives the contact, like a contact form. Like, thanks for the email. If you want to email us again, here's the place to email us. Thanks for the email, though. And it'll be noted. And maybe they should attach like a Shredder GIF, like not Shredder from Ninja Turtles, but like from Office Space. Was it? No, that was a fax machine. Never mind. Okay, last one. Well, obviously they have made a very serious error. I can only imagine that they will at some point come to their senses. A thorough investigation of this whole situation and lack of proper guidance and care taken through the entire process will have to be done. I can only imagine the needless stress on you and your family and team. Stay strong. And so I think that it's very interesting the way in which the responses, these former Conservative voters, they were going to vote for Mr. King. That's quite a number of emails, really, and saying this is insanity. This is madness. And Mr. King is a well-known person in the community. He's a former city councillor, well-respected in the community, as I said. And again, interesting that they can do whatever they want. The party, the Conservative Party, is, well, beating to the drum of different bureaucracies within its ranks, I guess. It's very interesting to watch. Very interesting to watch. And removing candidates like Mr. Mansur, like Mr. King, seems like a losing strategy. So Mr. King, Mr. Mansur, Mr. Frank Vaughan, and everybody else in this photo, and I'm always on the corner. Oh man, I was right beside Salim though, so that was fun. Good job for stepping up, and it's wonderful to have you. And election 43, well, it's going to be one for the record books, I'm sure. Thanks for watching, everybody. The new format is going to be continued today. I'm going to do a second video right away, so check out the People's Party of Canada.ca and have a wonderful, wonderful day.